Welcome to this rebuild of Voodoo 6. If you've seen the previous video, you'll already know that the maiden flight of this didn't go quite as planned, and yeah, we've made quite a mess of it. If you haven't seen the maiden flight, have a look in the description below and there'll be a link to the video. Now, I don't think this is the end of Voodoo 6. I think in the famous words of the $6 million man, we can rebuild it. We have the technology. Maybe you have to be of a certain age to know that television series. But anyway, I'm going to rebuild this, and I don't think the damage is as bad as it looks. I'll be honest with you, I haven't had a proper look at it yet. I'm just about to start stripping it out, taking all of the electronics, everything off it, the engine, and some of the covering off around the damage, so I can really assess what the problem is and what needs to be done to get it back in the air again. Well, I've now got all of the bits stripped out of this, and it's back to the basic airframe, or the bits of the bits of the airframe that are left. I've got my engine in a container here. I need to give that a clean. Any crash like this, and you want to give it a clean because you don't know what dirt has gone inside it. So I'll have a good look at that, see if it looks alright. First inspection, it looks fine, but I'll put it in the test stand, give it a run and just make sure it's okay. All of the bits I've gathered together in a box here. I love these containers. Whenever I'm doing a build, I always keep the parts in one of these containers. So let's take a closer look at this and we'll assess the damage. Right, well, we certainly have a bit of a jigsaw here. So if we have a look at the right hand wing first, and this wing tip, I think that will easily repair. The leading edge will push out, no problem. It will glue. I can cut off some of this sheeting nice and square and simply splice that in, put it in, and it'll be fine. You can see there it's not as bad as it looks, and the front of this rib here is totally shattered, and obviously this end rib here, the front piece has gone as well. Well, I've got over here the original plywood templates that I used when I was making the wing, and I've used those to already start cutting some pieces for the repairs. And same thickness ply, I think it's 1/16. I've cut a piece to go on the end there, and I think rather than doing a butt joint, cutting that in, I'll probably just overlap it a little bit. I think that will be stronger, and I'll just sand that a little bit so it's not quite such a square edge. And I've got another front of a rib here that will just slot into there, and like I said, and then I can sheet it. So I think this is actually going to repair quite nicely, this end anyway. Now if we look at the rest of it, I was really pleased the engine mounts and this central section at the front survived quite well. Obviously the spar's broken here where it connects onto the left hand wing, and to be honest, the spar breaking is the biggest problem to make sure that we gain enough strength. So I will need to cut out some of this and rebuild this. I might put some carbon fibre in, I might just put another piece of balsa spar. I'll have to think about that when I come to it. Now on this right hand wing again, look, we've got another broken rib in there, but again I've got a rear piece of the rib that will just slot over that. I'll cut out some of this and then put that over because I want to try and keep the weight down. It's obviously going to add weight, but the more I can limit that, the better. And I've got another tail end of a rib here to replace where the rib is missing there. So I can start to build this up. Obviously the sheeting will need to be redone, and there are some bits of ribs here that will need replacing, but I think it's all fairly easily done, I say. Now let's just where are we? just getting confused as to which way I'll... Oh, here we go. So you can see how that will fit together there, and I can glue that. As long as we've got the main spars that are holding the integrity of this together, and I can, like I said, cut out some of the sheeting. Now the only other thing that we need to deal with is the booms, and you can see this boom here that's just snapped off, and the other one the same as that. These are 1.5mm plywood. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably just butt joint those, push them back together and CA them, and then I will put on a brace or a doubler just to give that some strength and to hold it a lot better. Pieces like this will just CA back into place. So I'm going to start getting off some of this sheeting and getting it sort of cut square and start doing some of the repairs, and we'll come back and see how at a later stage, and we'll come back and see how we get on with this jigsaw. We can see the rear aerofoil here just got a little bit that needs filling in, but not a problem. Okay, well, a quick update on the repairs. I've just been working on this right hand wing tip, and I'm just ready to start putting the sheeting on, so I thought we'd have a quick look before I cover it up. Now, I've put the original bit of leading edge in here. It was quite a nice jagged break, if you can have a nice jagged break, and so it slotted together quite well and made a good big surface area for gluing. So I've just CA'd that. I don't think you can hardly see it there, and I've spliced in a bit where the end was ragged. I put in the new rib, and I decided to put on a little bit of a brace there just to strengthen that. Still got a little bit of sanding of this edge to do. Now I'm going to do the sheeting on the underside first. I've cut all these nice and square, and I've sanded them to make sure they're as square as possible for the sheeting to go in. And I've just put a couple of little tabs, a tab there, a tab there, and a little bit of a former there, rib shaped, so that when I put the sheeting on, I'm going to CA it in, it won't sink in and I won't get it right. So that will give me the best chance of trying to, just looking for the piece I've got here to go in there, just give me the best chance of getting that as in place as possible without any ridges. So I'm going to go on and CA that now, and then we'll come back and have a look at some of this end when I've done it. That's going to be a little bit more tricky. Well, this is really starting to come together now, and I'm feeling really positive about getting this back together. It's surprising how messy this is, cutting away bits of broken balsa compared to building from, you know, new sheets of balsa in which there's very little waste. But you can see here there's bits all over the place that I'm cutting out. But anyway, I've finished the tip now, and that has gone on really nice. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll zoom the camera in so you can see a little bit closer. But I'm already, or almost ready, to start actually gluing the sections, two sections of wing together. But I'll just zoom the camera in. Right, well, there's the finished wing tip. It'll still need a little bit of sanding, but it feels quite smooth, and I think it'll hardly be noticeable, those repairs. One of the hardest things with doing all this is actually making, or not the hardest thing, but the thing that takes a lot of time, is just making sure that everything is in a straight line and nice and square and true, so that you end up with a wing just like it should be and as it started. So that's done, that's nice. And now I've been working on the join, and if we have a look at this, there's three main points where the wing needs to join together. We've got the leading edge here, where that has just take that out, where that has just snapped away, and I think what I will do is I will just push that together, I will CA it, but then I will put a fairly hefty brace in the corner here. I think that will probably be the best and strongest solution to fixing that. The middle section, previously it was mainly just the two top spars that held all this together. Sorry, the top spar and bottom spar. And what I've actually done is I've cut a slot in the wing which is parallel to the spars. Now the spars run just here, and so what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to slide that in like that, and I'm going to epoxy that into place, and that will provide a really strong bridge between the two broken halves. Once I've epoxied it into place, I'm going to use a scalpel and just trim this off and sand it flush here, so that then I just cover over that. And obviously I'll need to repair this a little. But that goes full depth, and I don't know whether we can see in there. You can just, if I move that, you can just see it pressing against the spars and the shear webbing at the back. So I think that will provide a really good attachment point. And on this wing, this half of the wing, if I turn this around, this half of the wing, that brace will just slot onto there when I push these two together. So it'll just glue onto this face here, which is 1.5mm ply on both sides, either side of the central spars. And again, that will provide a really good, strong brace. And at the back end, the other attachment of the three is just this thin piece of trailing edge that's that doesn't provide a great deal of support, but I've put in a piece of hard balsa there that goes through and comes to the rib here, and that is epoxied in. And once this goes together, that will just epoxy onto the other side there. Now I think those three braces attachments will provide the strength that's needed. In fact, I think it'll probably be stronger than the original. If it breaks, it'll probably break on the other side next. Now I'm hoping that the sheeting here, I don't want to slide this fully together because I don't want to damage the brakes, but I think that will go together nicely and actually form quite a good join. And I think because it's jagged like this, it'll probably end up being stronger than just having a cut and a butt joint. So that should go together nicely. There's obviously some bits here that are going to need replacing, and I've got some ribs that I've cut that rib there, which will go in, and then once that's in and glued and the wings are together, I'm actually going to trim this down by eye and sand it to get it to the correct profile. And also I've got a second rib that will go in there. But I'm going to get on now and start gluing these together. I haven't even thought about the tail booms yet. I just wanted to get these wings sorted. But as I say, I think it will go together quite nicely, and I'm going to do that now. Well, as you can probably tell, I'm feeling really positive about getting this back together. And there are some really important things that we need to consider when we're doing this. As I said a minute ago, getting this square and true so it flies nice at the end is really important. But the other two important things are making sure it's strong enough, which we've discussed, which I think the fixes that we're doing will provide that strength, but we need to keep it light. So putting in as little as possible and cutting out the bits that aren't actually doing anything. And I know how heavy this was. I did weigh it before the crash when it was finished, and so once it's all back together and ready to go, I'll weigh it again and we'll see just how much weight we've added. And maybe that'll be good, maybe it won't, but we'll see anyway. But I'm going to draw this to a close now so these videos aren't too long, and I hope you'll come back and see in the next video where we're going to pull this together and we're going to get it kitted out and finished, hopefully. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.